Hello everybody and welcome back. Sorry it's been a while since I posted a video. Been sick for, the last week or so. And then I lost my turtle. So then I started thinking about, because I have all this feeder insects and turtle food. Well, my turtle also eats the same thing that a bearded dragon does. So I thought about getting a bearded dragon and decided to. And that led into getting a new enclosure because I wanted something with good ventilation, yet it still could get nice and warm, because a bearded dragon is a totally different um, side of the spectrum from a box turtle. Box turtles like it moist, not wet, but moist. And they want the ability to be able to go in water and stuff like that, even if it's just wading up to their waist to cool down. Where a bearded dragon, it's native to Australia, in the woods where the kind of desert and woods meet. So it's kind of used to dry, arid, and very hot weather. So glass enclosure you can use, but I went with something that's more enclosed. So got one that's made for a reptile. Still has the vents through the side so we can get the good ventilation. But it was a totally redo of an enclosure for it. So I'm kind of working on that, and hopefully in the next couple days, it's Monday right now. Hopefully, I want it to sit, because I'm making stuff for it. I made a whole background scene, and this here I have is a hut that's like from like Luke's or Anakin's kind of huts. Actually, here's the roof. It kind of gives you that Tatooine look, and then they also have the ones with the dome roofs, two different ones. Let's see if I can. Yeah, this cellar here has. You got that style. You got that style with dome, and there's the one I'm doing. And then you got a water dish you could even make for them. So that's kind of neat. I went with this one because it'll give him or her a different, a little roof for him to lay on. Besides being able to go inside and hide, he can come up, whether he wants to take steps or not. But he can come up here and lay down. Yeah, he can be able to, either be inside, or this gives him a nice roof to sit on and be able to rest up here if he wants to. So it actually adds more space in the terrarium. So we're going to do this. So I'm going to paint this up. We're going to do it since he or she is a Australian base. We're going to go with more of a reddish, because the sand out in Australia is a reddish. So that's the sand that I had in there, and then I mixed it up with some coconut husks and stuff like that to kind of more mimic, because they don't live in the sand dunes. They kind of live in that woodsy desert. This is this, and then I'll maybe at the tail end of this video, or maybe before we no, maybe at the tail end of the SLAVE-1 video, we'll come back and show this, and maybe show the enclosure. And then I want it to sit for a day and let wash all this, because I'm going to paint this and then wash it all down once it's all cured, and let it sit for a couple days before I pick up the actual bearded dragon. Don't want him putting him in anything that's giving off gassing and stuff like that. Plus, I want to check the tank. Is my basking spot getting hot enough for him? Is it overall enclosure temperature good? Like in the shaded spot. So he has his warm and cold areas. So, all right. Well, I'm going to get off the painting. Well, hello and welcome back. I'm now doing a build series on the Boba Fett's SLAVE-1 by Revell, the 188. But I decided to start making. I have a file. I got a bundle way back. Came with a bunch of different stuff, and I looked, and yeah, it did have the SLAVE-1 in it too. So I decided to build this up too, kind of while I'm doing a smaller version. But yeah, there's a lot of pieces plus the interior. But I had to do the interior first because once you lock these all together, you ain't getting this in or out. So I did a little decorative up of the interior so far. So it's looking good. And then we can take this off and protect it from painting the outside. What I'm going to do is print the windscreen just in some obscure color. It don't matter. I can even use the black plastic, but yeah. So the joints are coming together pretty good. We'll have to, fix quite a few of them, but some of them they're really coming together tight. Their whole connecting system with these little clips is really nice from Gambody's. Now this is an older one, so it doesn't have like elaborate lighting. I don't know if there's anything I'm gonna do inside the interior to light it. I mean, the weirdest thing is for the wiring, you kind of come from the tail in through these two holes right there, which then come right alongside those two chairs. And then the next set of holes, I don't know if you can see, are on that back wall. And they're up kind of high. You won't be able to see, it's too dark in there, but they come out right there. And that can feed these engines here. So that's going to be a little weird. I'm going to have power coming in and kind of just have cables laying around, which is fine. I mean, it's a Star Wars ship, so it will have cables. But and then here's the wings I have together. I was thinking about doing these in resin, but then I was like, man, let me try it with the filament printer because it'll make these so heavy and fragile. I was afraid, like, especially this arm being fragile. I mean, this big block of resin, probably this big, probably would be okay. But it printed fine, printed great. And it was 3 pieces. You had this piece here, and that piece there. And then we'll have the arm that comes down that goes up into that section, into there. But we're going to do this in my taste. This isn't going to be Boba Fett's. Maybe later on I might do another one and do it as Boba Fett's studio scale. But this one's going to be kind of that Mandalorian kind of silver Razor Crest kind of thing. So it should be interesting. We'll go off the vibe of the original SLAVE-1. But we'll have like silvers instead of that light green. And then we're going to dark green. We'll have some darker silvers. Dark silver here. I think we're going to do a metallic blue here with chipping and scratching. So it should be pretty interesting. And these will be just full on silver because we'll say the main hull is kind of like a silver thing. And here is the back half. There's the back half, and that's where the power will come through. And you can just put a battery back in here. You have this ramp area that opens up. And then here we have a hole for the stand. It doesn't have a stand. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to make it a wall mount. She's got some weight to her. For as big as she is, she doesn't. I just finally got this whole thing together. It was getting these 2 pieces. Because you got to be careful on how you put this together. Because you want to make sure everything's one click. You don't have to click this way and that way. Because things attach. Like this part attaches to that part and that part. So you want to get this built and then, yeah, so you got to pay attention to the instructions for sure. But yeah, you can see think she's 25 inches long. It won't even fit on camera. She's that big. The guns back here I did in resin, and get this out of the way. We did some high detail stuff in resin. All the chairs and stuff like in the cockpit were done in resin. I did these guns in resin. I did these missile launchers in resin because they pull out. And, that's going to be fun, making sure they're clean and they fit. So I'll be able to actually turn these in, probably put some firing lights in them. But yeah, the chairs here I did in resin. These pieces that'll come out to go to the console I did in resin. I just don't have them in yet. I made a mistake. You were actually supposed to put them in before you snap these two halves together because of this here. Because they're supposed to go inside two little holes on this console, but I don't think that's going to happen. So the bases are in. I'm going to have to glue the other part and make it work with the console. But yeah, she's almost together. And then we do have all the engine pieces. This is the lower half. Oh, look at that. Support. This is the lower half, and it'll have that one shield here and everything. It sits below this part where these engines are. This is another piece. These are two pieces. Those parts actually come out. That's a separate part, like it should be. But right now, like I said, it's holding these two halves together. So we have that. This will be nice to light. Then we have the bar. Oh, and here's these sections that go down here. There's those pieces. We have this engine piece, the big long engine part. And then here's two doors. They're not on there right now. This is the track. And then there's two doors that close, and you can open them up, and it'll have that sonic mine that you saw in Clone Wars that came out when Obi-Wan was chasing Django. Comes out and then goes bam and blows everything in its radius away. So it has those, and I actually printed one of those little sonic mines. And then you have the top part with that dish. And then I'll print these little gun-like things in resin. But that's all glued. These two halves are glued together, I believe. Yeah. This is just all stuck on. The dish, radar dish part is just stuck on. And of course, that'll be way up top. So there's the whole underside engine pieces. And this actually sits up like that because there's a level change on the ship. And these are still being separated with sprues or support. So I'm sure these pipes probably line up. And then all this gets tightened and that gets pushed up. But right now, the way it printed them all like like one piece. So right now it's all separated. And then once you do that, you connect all these pieces. Actually, that goes there, and that will go there. So sweet. So it's a very, very nice ship. So I think I'm pretty much down to everything being printed. I just have another one of those little missile things in the bottom. It didn't print, failed on the resin. I think we pretty much have everything ready. But this I'll be slowly building and just showing you updates. I'm not going to do like a whole series. I'll just do like updates. It seems like most people are interested in the styrene kits because that's something, which makes sense because that's something you guys can easily go out and get. Not everybody has a printer, but it's nice to show these bigger builds. But I think a lot of them, especially if it's something that's already out there in a styrene kit, I'll just do kind of update builds. Like I'm gonna do a Star Destroyer as Grand Admiral Thrawn's. I'll just show you updates on me making it more like Grand Admiral Thrawn's because I do have the Revell 12700 one, which we're gonna do a build series on. The TIE Avenger from Andor we'll do a build series on because that's a rare, that's not in a styrene kit. But like the TIE Fighter, because I'm doing that whole 134th different variants of TIE Fighters in 124th or 134th, I think they are from Gambody. So I have the Phantom, which we have a video on. The TIE Fighter will just do updates. The TIE Bomber will probably just do updates. Now they finally released a TIE Bomber from round two. It's about time in a bigger scale. Um, TIE Interceptor will probably just do updates because I'll be building the smaller Interceptor. Probably will go and get the new version that goes with the Studio Series TIE Fighter. I think that's what they're doing. They have the Studio Series TIE Fighter, and now they have the Interceptor that matches that scale and a TIE Bomber that matches that scale. I think they're 132nd. That's what they are. And it's looking like I can probably attach the bot back onto this and let it sit overnight because I can still get wires through to where I need to, and it's going to be a while. I won't put this in until I'm done painting a lot of it. So I'll have all this access down here for the wiring. But yeah, this will eventually go in there like that. So it's going to be cool. Well, okay, here she is. It's like I promised. That came out pretty good. Now this will match this, the sand. So it'll look like it was made with the local sand. And I just brushed it, so it gives it that almost like the stucco kind of look. And I printed it in yellow, as you can see at it, and that way you get those really nice light spots. And I did some coppers and some bronzes, hit some pipes with some copper, hit some bronze on there, did some panel liners in the grills to give them a little darkness, so they have some depth. A little blue and red there. And I hit some blue, red, and green in there on that control panel. Nothing overly special. Like if this was going to be a model, like when you now this was on Bamboo Studios, and I didn't take down who it was from, but obviously they have a beautiful page where it shows all of them. I think I showed it on the video earlier on the clips ahead of this video. Um, but like it's on Bamboo Studios, so free. Once you download it, it has different sizes already scaled. Now this was the biggest, and obviously you could take one of the smaller ones and scale it up. But why? He already has it set, and this is the biggest one that would allow this to build on like an A1 size build plate, which is 256 millimeters square cubed. The smallest one you can print both on the same plate. So he has one that's so small you can actually print the ceiling, the roof, and the body of the hut on the same plate. So yeah, very cool. Did I show the back? And there's the back where there's another door. So we painted those grills. I had a little wash up there, a little panel liner, and of course when it's on a 3D print, because I didn't worry about build lines on here. But for now, I did hit this with a clear coat, so I want to let this air outside, so I won't put it in terrarium in the enclosure for him yet. And then once it cures, I want to wash it, and then we'll put it in, and then I'll maybe do a little add on to another video showing it, or the next update, even on this on the SLAVE-1. So, but thanks for watching, and catch you later.